Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. It's been a while. It has been a hot minute. It's actually been, I was looking back at it, the last live stream was about a couple of months ago. We've done a few CEO interviews, a few different videos here and there, but it has been a solid period of time. And in fact, looking back at what's happened on markets over the past period of time, there's been a lot going on, but I thought it was time to drop in. I've been reading a lot of the comments. We're obviously on Instagram now. I've been getting a lot of DMs and messages about where are the streams, what's been going on. So I thought it'd be good just to drop in a bit of a stream, say good day to everyone, see how things are going on markets, of course, chat about that. There's been lots of news flow depending on which sectors you've been looking at. Obviously, since we last chatted, there's been the Silicon Valley Bank scenario. There's been a lot of different things, and we're into earnings season. As we always know, we went through many earnings seasons. They always provide a good insight and a good chance to think about how things are currently positioned. As we get into it, as we welcome everyone saying g'day, I did want to test. What do you guys think about the background? So we've got like two different background situations. We can do, let me see. We've got like this one set here, or we can go for this one. Let me know. This is just like the conventional one. This is more so we're back on set, back saying g'day to everyone. Let's see how everyone's doing. Good to see you again. It's been a while. About time. How you going? Also, we're now on Instagram. Everyone's been saying, where have the videos been? I'm making just about daily reels, daily short business stories over on Instagram. It's ASX Investor IG. If you haven't yet and you're wondering where the daily content is, it's there. We're doing posts each and every day about the markets, whether it's about the ASX, global markets, individual business stories, whatever it is that you like. It's ASX Investor IG. Come say good day. About time. At this stage, market is dominated by data swing traders. Searching for position is where we're at. The long-term economic effects about the rate rise and how things are going. Unemployment still stayed persistently low. Obviously, the effects haven't yet been seen. We haven't had that earnings squeeze yet. The downgrade cycle on earnings hasn't commenced. But yeah, it's searching for position. This earnings season is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, Tesla reported overnight last night. Constricting margins, increasing competition. They've done their price cuts, but they've obviously got the long-term plan. Elon's doing what Elon's doing, as well as many other things as well. The Everything app, we can chat about that too. Andrew, how you going, mate? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. Did it on a Thursday night as well, because it's been a while there. Been a good while. It has, Deco. It has, mate. How's things on your end? Bring on the good times. So I listened to this is a funny one. I don't think I've actually shared this. There's also no specific plan or discussion tonight. I just wanted to hang out and chat, and it's been a good while. So we can chat about kind of stories or discuss what's been going on in markets, whatever you guys want to talk about, drop in a comment. But we have, there's like a distinct song. And you guys remember, we did like 800 plus daily videos. And literally every single time before I filmed the video, we're on set here. I had a song that I played before that. And it was like the hype up song. So it was like 3 minutes before the stream started or 3 minutes before we'd film a video. I'd play that. I'd get all the lights gone. I'd get the mic here and then I'd move the laptop to here. And I just played it again. I got such nostalgia of like the 2020, 2021 days when we were doing like Tuesday, Thursday streams and then Saturdays at 10 a.m. You guys remember it. Also, actually, I forgot. It's been a while. We've got to do the standard discussion. Firstly, if you're new here, make sure you've subscribed and turn your bell notifications on. Hit the like button as well. I'm on Instagram at ASX Investor IG. Come say good day. But before we get into it, I'm obviously not a financial advisor. Nothing we discuss is financial advice. It's all just a general discussion. Hopefully an interesting starting spot for you to do your own research from, though. And drop in a comment. Let us know how you've been. Started now, mate. As always is the way with technical difficulties. This camera kind of had to get up and about, but we're here now. We are here now. Hey, Reem. Hey, how you going? Evening. I've got a new drink bottle too. I'm not sure whether I love it or not. It's like one of those ones where you suck it up the top, but it doesn't fully close. So it works. Blue Angel, can't wait for the recession. What are people's thoughts? Are you thinking Q3 recession this year? How do you think it's going to go? Divergences between regions. Where do you think it's going to get hit the hardest? UK inflation figures came in, was it last night? 10.1%. Higher than the Bank of England was anticipating. RBA decision today as well, that they're splitting out the RBA potentially in terms of one focusing on raising rates and the other one on governance. Interesting split. Lithium up. Lithium's prices have come down significantly. There's been a lot of movement in the lithium space. Sayona's into production. Argosi's not far off. Liontown had their bid and rose up kind of straight to, I think 260 was at the bid or 250 was at the bid. It's like 270 now. Lots going on. Philip, Quick Fee. How's Quick Fee going? QFE. Haven't looked too much into that space. At 6.2 cents. What's your thoughts on the space there, mate? Hope you're going well. CXO, big announcement yesterday. Was it 62% increase on their think it was 62% increase on their Finnish lithium project, which is not bad. It's a fairly tidy upgrade in terms of the mineral resource estimate there. Second one, right at the top, mate, right at the top. I did read your comment yesterday, who's will actually, or was it today? And it was another contributing factor to get onto the stream. So I do read all the comments, guys. I guess we can give the overview about where we've been. I know for those who have been following the stream, you guys will know where we've been. But for those who've not, and you're like, there's been a dearth of videos. Where are the daily videos gone? What's been happening? So I'm the founder and CEO of a charity called Are Mobilize. And you might have seen a bloke last year, incredible individual called Ned Brockman, who ran from Perth to Sydney, 4,000 odd kilometers across the country in 47 days. And he was going to raise funds for homelessness. And we're incredibly grateful and blessed that he chose We Are Mobilize. And so he ended up raising over $2 million for us. And we're now in the scale up phase. And for anyone who's been involved in startups or business building, it happens and it happens quickly. And you've obviously got to strike while the iron's hot and make sure for us in the impact space that we're able to make the biggest impact that we can and obviously fulfill the obligation and also the opportunity that we had 30,000 plus donors who believed in us that we're able to do. So that's where I've been, obviously integrating, that $2 million fundraise, but also the awareness that's come with so many incredible organizations and people who want to work with us. We've been busy. We've now got a team of 4 working full-time on it, but we've kind of been scaling up the company, making sure that we're doing everything right and making sure that we're able to do this sustainably and, make an impact and change lives across the nation for years to come. So that's where I've been. Obviously, daily videos are difficult when we're doing that, but we've been doing plenty of content on Instagram. We're over on TikTok as well. So I'm still around. We're still kind of posting out content. It's just, it hasn't been on YouTube. We've moved over to the IG, but it's, we'll be around. I've got some interesting CEO interviews coming up in the next few weeks. We did one last week, Highfield Resources in the potash space. I find potash interesting. Agriculture is interesting. We'll do a few hopefully in the next period about, obviously a few in the lithium, as I know you guys like them, and a few others. But yeah, we're kind of semi back. The first Ned ran in September last year. He got back in mid-October. We needed about 6 months to just digest everything that's happened, get the company up and running, and make sure that we've got, the pillars in place to be able to really run with it, pardon the pun, and to be able to, make that difference. But now we're here. I think we've got a little bit more of a balance or a semblance of balance after, what is essentially an exponential growth curve that we've had and the change of trajectory. But I think now we're able to kind of to settle in and hopefully get back to a few more videos for you as well. But it's at ASX Investor IG on the Instagram if you want to see it. Lithium fell off a cliff. Tin up 14% this week. What's happening over in the tin side, Andrew? What's the supply or demand factors there? Normal background. We got the normal background. I like it as well. It's a bit more authentic, it feels. Blue Angel, good to be back. Lithium price still going down. Not much going up. I'm very keen to see the FANG. I've seen a lot more people talking about FANG now. Netflix, decent report overnight, actually. But a lot more people talking about FANG with Microsoft coming in instead of FANG. It's always been that way, I guess. But now more and more people are talking about the FANG report. So they'll be in 2 weeks' time, I think. Like the old background? We're there. Richard, how you going, mate? Evening. Oh, Blue Angel like the green screen one. We might put it back up in a bit then for you, mate. Got the Mo. Where's the upper? And the blonde hair's gone as well, actually. So we've just got... We're stuck on the back to the traditional look. We had the blonde hair for a good 6 months. Obviously, watching the Socceroos at the World Cup, fantastic. Matildas, the Women's World Cup will be June, July this year. Get around the Matildas if you like your football. Who knows? We actually could win this World Cup, which would be incredible. It's on home soil as well. That gives a bit of an uplift. Neil. Going well, mate. Going well. We ran the Olympic distance triathlon in... Was it February? Mate, that hurt. That was some hard jacket. The swim was really, really tough. Those brick sessions, I'm glad that you told me about them though, because if I was just doing isolated sessions the whole time, it would have been even harder. So thank you, mate. A little distracting, but I guess it's cool. We can chuck it back on in a bit. Elon, what's everyone think about the, all right, two discussion points here. One, the everything app. So if you're not familiar with what that is, essentially imagine like WeChat, like they have in China, an app that kind of does it all, whether it's like your shopping, your retail, obviously your communications, social media, just everything and so much more. That's obviously not fully describing it, but that's it's been done, particularly in Asian countries, but it hasn't been done really in the Western world effectively yet. And so Elon Musk is aiming to potentially X, I think is the working name in progress. Obviously X Corp Holdings, they've incorporated and they actually brought Twitter under that banner there. But do you think Elon can pull it off? Do you think it needs to be pulled off? Is it likely to be pulled off? And then the second question on the other side of that is AI. I'm sure everyone's familiar with ChatGPT now. If you haven't yet, go and look at ChatGPT. It's going to blow your mind. We actually talked about it a couple of months ago. We've got a video about AI and ChatGPT on the channel from a few months ago. It's mind-blowing, but I saw there was 1,100 researchers or preeminent scientists, experts, all of the above, including, I guess, headlined by Elon Musk. I think Mr. Wozniacki as well, the Apple founder, was on it as well. And they were all saying that we should halt AI production or AI development for 6 months because essentially it's getting intense. What do you guys think? Is AI going to take over the world? Should we be worried? Should we be excited? Are you excited? How are you feeling about it all? Great to be back. Too long, mate. Hopefully, it's going to be a lot sooner between drinks now. And yeah, back to a few more CEO interviews, back to a few more videos. There was obviously a good reason why we were out and about. It's been a busy period at We Are Mobilize. If you're not familiar with We Are Mobilize as well, you can check it out. I've got the link in my bio there. It's at We Are Mobilize for what we do. But yeah, we're back to a steady state. So I think we can get to it. How are you using ChatGPT? There you go, mate. Everyone's talking about ChatGPT. I use it for a few different things. Research. I've actually been using it for content ideas as well. So sometimes if I want to make like a new business story reel on the Instagram, I'll be like, what's an interesting business story? I think it gave me the Airbnb and Uber ones, and it gives like a little bit of the start of the script as well. So it's like halving the research time. Sometimes like captioning and things as well. Starting of like documents and stuff like that. Obviously, I mean, everyone uses it differently, but it's not something that you can really dive into and use 100% as the end output. But I think for a start, it can be really, really, really good, particularly because it just gives you like the baseline infrastructure, and then you can work around it and add your own subject matter kind of knowledge depending on what you're using it for from there. That's how I've been using it. Keen to know your thoughts. Traveling again, not yet. So Mobilize will be kind of the focus for the next foreseeable future. Would love to travel. Absolutely enjoy traveling. I've been to 40 plus countries. It's what I am very, very eager to do, but I think Mobilize will be the focus. We did a trip to Queensland 2 weeks ago for Mobilize. Had some stuff up there. We'll probably go to Sydney. We're launching a direct giving program. It's in process actually at the moment, which is really exciting. So we're going to be pairing an employment partner, incredible group there who do construction, with a charity partner who will be providing the legal and medical support as well as case management for housing. And Mobilize will help to provide funding as well as project management of it. And we're hoping to pair these three components together, and through a 6-month pilot program. It'll be a pilot initially. We're hoping to see kind of substantial change and development, and hope to position the individuals that we're working and, journeying with into the next chapter of their life. So that's going to be in Sydney for that pilot. So I'll be back and forth a little bit, maybe between Sydney, but probably not international travel for the foreseeable future. Boringly flat ATM. Mate, sometimes boring is all right because we remember the helter-skelter of 2020, 2021, 2022. Sometimes it's good just to breathe. But I know what you mean. There's not as much excitement or everyday up and down as there was during those atypical periods. They definitely weren't conventional ones. Gather round down here in Adelaide. Very, very nice. Melbourne Rebels are playing tomorrow night. They're one of We Are Mobilize's main sponsors. So I've been getting around the rugby union lately. Obviously, I'm from Melbourne. We don't get a lot of rugby here conventionally. It's AFL, but I've been liking rugby union. I'm really, I understand the allure of the sport. It makes sense. It's pretty impressive to see. Late 2023, Q4 for Richard there on the recession counter. Chainsaw, RBA decision need to happen to bring it in line with most other central banks. Yep. What do you guys think about peak rates? Are we getting close to it? The bond market after the last rate decision in Oz actually priced in potential peak rates. I know it's been moving in and around there, but it was interesting to see if it even get close to that. Sayona Green Week. Sayona had a double whammy, didn't they? So back end of last week, they had the upgraded DFS for NAL. I think it was 2.2 billion off the top of my head. And then Moblan had the increase on Monday. Was it a pre-market one from memory? Something like that. Nice to see many of the usual suspects commenting. It is. It's great. Everyone's backing around. How's everyone been going? I agree with that, Neil. What's news on everyone's side? No tea. I'm actually off tea. I'm essentially fully off caffeine now. Not fully. I will have a tea here and there in a catch-up, but essentially off caffeine. I tell you what I've been doing every single morning, only for like 18 days now. I'm a convert to cold showers. Is anyone else on the cold showers train? The dopamine hit that you get from it, and I guess the focus, the increase of adrenaline, and also I like it because it's just doing hard things. And I think if you start your day doing hard things, it sets you up for the rest of the day. It's not always as straightforward as that. Obviously, life happens, but I've been doing cold showers. Is anyone else on that? Or cold exposure, plunge pools, ice baths? I haven't got into ice baths as much yet, but yeah, I've been doing cold showers. For everyone joining, welcome. As you guys know, we're back on the live streams. It's good to be back. We've got some CEO interviews coming up. Make sure you've subscribed. If you're wondering where we've been doing daily content on the Instagram. Pinned comment at the top here. It's just ASX Investor IG. You'll find us if you're there, but all your daily content is still there. So we haven't disappeared. I just, as we started the stream, posted a new reel there about Toto Wolff in the F1. He just achieved billionaire status, and he achieved that from a $30 million stake in Mercedes. That wasn't the only way he got there. He was a very successful venture capital investor before it, but that was obviously a key catalyst towards getting it from a $30 million stake at a discount. So we just dropped a reel, but as I uploaded it, I think that there was an issue with the kind of the alignment of the audio and the video. So we might have to re-upload that, but we're going to be doing new reel styles over there. So stay tuned. It's ASX Investor IG. Blue Angel, hearing lots of talk about S1 circles, but not much happening yet. Yeah, I think it's an interesting one because obviously they've got that deal with Piedmont for the supply in the near term. So I'm wondering if the market's kind of getting caught up on the near term with that and waiting to see how that plays out. But, there's not many North American lithium producers at this stage, and you see a lot of investment in the space. What's an example of it? Ford just did $1.8 billion, committed $1.8 billion Canadian, I think, to upgrade their plant in, was it Quebec? It was in Canada. I can't remember exactly where it was, but essentially they've got a conventional plant and they're going to upgrade that to an electric vehicle plant as one way that they're going to hopefully get towards their target of EV production in the next few years. Lake seems to be getting back on track. Where's the Lake share price sitting at the moment? 44 cents. So it's below the 50. It's about $500 million market cap now. I hope you're going well, MG, as well. Welcome. How's Mr. ASX? Yeah, she's going well. Where have you been hiding, mate? Just in the normal places. We're back at home, as you can see here. So just back in Melbourne, just doing things. Been into the office. So office is city sites. I've been spending a lot of time there, but just around, mate. Just doing stock standard stuff. VML, yeah, they had that big changeover with, I can't remember the name. Was it Lionheart or something like that? But that's been really, really difficult. And they're trying to digest it down to 10 cents or 12 cents now. So difficult year there. The rare earths space is interesting. What's been going on with Linus? Anyone been following Linus and how everything's been playing out on that front? Gather round was good. Anyone go to the gather round and watch the AFL over in Adelaide? 80 million extra income over the next 3 years, financial boon, and the spread's the game. It's interesting because the A-League tried to do something similar with football, I guess soccer, depending what you call it, where they announced it's essentially like a gather round, but it's for the finals. So the grand final will be in Sydney for the next 3 years. But there was a bit of an uproar about it. There was less excitement than, say, something like the gather round. I wonder if it's because of the final versus, in the season year. I guess the other point of it is there was something really special about the A-League that if you win your way to the final as a top-ranked team, it's in your home state. Obviously I'm a Melbourne Victory fan. There's been some very special nights at Amy Park and Etihad Stadium before that. Adelaide at Hindmarsh, apparently was it Hindmarsh or Coopers? But apparently it was, really, really special there. So they lose that with Sydney. But yeah, it was interesting seeing the differences in perspective there. Love this, mate. It's good to be back, Francisco. Welcome. Areem, sold down the portfolio, 100% out, or did you keep a few? How did you go with that? Same situation like 1929. That's a pretty big call. I mean, it really depends who you ask, but I think every situation in the markets and in the world and the economy is different. The most bearish of calls, would say that perhaps it's even going to be worse than 1929. It's very difficult to get worse than that. But I think a lot of people are probably saying we're probably more in the middle, that yes, there's some more economic headwinds ahead. We're definitely not in plain sailing. But it is navigatable. But, everyone's got a different perspective on this, and nobody knows the right answer. Hindsight is 20/20, 40/20, even probably 80/20, because you can see things very well in the mirror or in the reverse, but it's a lot harder while you're in the midst of it. I've got to do more reading on it before I can really provide a comment. I read the headlines. I kind of read into a little bit today, but I really want to understand the drivers of it and all of that. But keen to hear everyone's thoughts on that. Myanmar mining halt jumps tin price. Interesting. What was the halt for there? Macro oversight, hasn't been really implemented for that. It's a very, very, very different time. SPP, back down to 520. I don't know where it closed. It's been very volatile just in the last 2 or 3 days, I think. It was like 490, then 560, then 520. Don't know where it closed today. 505. There we go. Another 10% down. So, very volatile. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Fairly defined roadmap. The discrete discussion was fascinating. We had the CEO of Weebit, Kobe Hanok, on the channel about 2 months ago. Just before all of the mayhem in terms of the share price. And I think some of the discussion about discrete and the customer need and demand for the discrete market I thought that was fascinating to hear. Thoughts on uranium? Yeah, I mean, the supply and demand dynamics haven't changed since we talked about it on the channel. Obviously, things take time in this space. It's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. So nothing's really changed in terms of supply and demand dynamic, but nothing's really changed in the supply and demand dynamic, which is kind of flowing through to the prices as well. Great to see you back on deck. It's good to be back, Marky. Hope you're going well, mate. Uni going berserk for ChatGPT. I saw it turn it in like the uni fraud, or I guess the uni copying technology that they utilize, like rapidly rushed out an AI turn it in ChatGPT kind of module of it, so they can hopefully assess whether ChatGPT is being used. But yeah, I mean, I think back to my time at uni, it's like it would have saved so much time, like being able to just get the starts to like your essays, or just learn about kind of, because you think about it, you remember like those huge chunky textbooks, and you're going to go back through and look at this and that. Obviously, it's a much more deep level of learning when you have to do that. But in terms of like being able to answer questions and things like that, it is so much faster. So the education system is going to be overhauled, or not overhauled, but it's going to have a lot of disruption that they're going to have to navigate with something like ChatGPT. But our end, yeah, I think it's at this stage now, the market's looking for revenues and commercial agreements. Obviously, they play hand in hand and are intertwined. It's difficult with the NDAs because commercial licenses might be being sold through different avenues. And so you might not immediately or explicitly see them announced, but obviously then you'd wait to see them flow through for revenues. But yeah, I think the market's just waiting for that. And without those, that's kind of what's persisting to the uncertainty. It's interesting with BrainChip because they announce a lot of different partnerships and agreements. And Sean Hare, the CEO there, obviously has got a wealth of experience with ecosystems from HP, and they've got a lot of team with experience building ecosystems at whichever companies they're from. And these things take time, but I think in terms of a market perspective, that's kind of what it's looking for at this stage. Elon's got an obsession with X, yeah, ever since his first solution that merged to become PayPal. He does. I'd love to ask him, or hear about. I haven't looked into it, but kind of why X? Was it just the fact that they used that initially, and he's always been obsessed with it, or was there a deeper thing? But yeah, it's going to be fascinating. Teal calls him a fraud. I didn't hear that. Interesting. Elon wanted AI to pause so it could catch up. This Truth GPT is another interesting one. What's kind of the lens that they're taking on it? I haven't dived too much into it. Navigator, welcome back. It's good to be back, mate. Hope you're all going well. Happy Thursday. It feels just like old times. Good to be back. We're on down 30%. Yeah, I think the share price has been down fairly significantly over the past period, really since Mercedes, which was like 12 and a half months. Oh, no, sorry. It's probably like 16 months ago now. I think it was like January 2022. Elon said research because it's dangerous to the word 2 weeks later. And then, yeah, that's exactly what Deco's mentioned as well. It's interesting speaking out of both sides of the mouth there. Archer and Avonix, happy to be out with rising rates. Richard's sitting on the sidelines as well, a bit like a remit, it sounds like. I don't think AI will take over. Smart people will get a lot smarter with it. Yeah, the way that I've always thought about it, so if you look at people who can use, in the simplest instance, like Excel wizards. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen like Excel wizards, Power BI wizards, those types of people where it's like, wow, they can make the data sing and they know how to utilize their technology as a tool rather than as a hindrance and be overbearing. I think that's the types of people who will see the huge benefit. Obviously, everyone's going to get productivity gains from it, but you will see that split between people who are real masters of it versus people who are just kind of using it because they have to. So, yeah, I agree with your last sentence there. One thing that everyone really should start to get familiar with. What made you pause climbing the corporate ladder, which you're very well capable of, and get into the philanthropy space? Yeah, this is a good question. So for me, social impact was always first. And then corporate was always something that I was very passionate about and enjoyed. But I always, like, going back to when I was very, very young, I always wanted to make an impact in the world and change the world in a way. I never knew exactly how that would look. I think it was always something aspirational that you say when you're a child, but it was something I was always inclined to do and thought about. And Mobilize happened very organically. I mean, we can go into the Mobilize story one day as well and talk about it, but it happened very organically. But as we started to build it, I realized that that was a way that we could do it there. And with Ned's run as well, I had to make the decision there. Obviously, consulting was going well. I loved consulting, had some really good opportunities there. But it was that once in a lifetime chance. And Ned ran for us, the Australian people, as we said, we had 30,000 plus donors did that, and they put the faith in us. And so for me, I felt obligated to be able to repay that. But it's also something I'm very, very passionate about. And I think what I'm realizing more and more and more as we're spending a lot more time in the impact space is it's not one or the other. You don't have to pick both. I've met some incredibly smart people through the work we do at Mobilize, and we're working with some incredible organizations. Some of the largest consulting firms, some of the largest banks. We're talking to all these people, largest philanthropy funds. All of these people we're involved with and kind of learning from them. And so you don't have to pick both. It's just a different lens and an approach. And I think social enterprise is an incredible avenue that can make a huge impact in the world as well, which I'm very passionate about too. And so I've realized that it doesn't have to be both, but it does look different versus the conventional corporate ladder, which is what you're referring to there. Welcome to everyone joining us. If you're wondering where we've been, guys, we're on Instagram. It's at ASX Investor IG. Come say good day. We're doing daily content over there. Also on TikTok. I think it's ASX Investor TikTok there. I'm on LinkedIn as well. It's ASX Investor. So we're on all of those. But Instagram's where you're getting your daily content and where you can kind of chat and we can go in the DMs and stuff like that and say good day. So Instagram's kind of where I think everyone should be if you're on there, because then at least we can kind of catch up a bit more. In the Philippines and Melton, what's the weather over there, mate? We're very frosty over here in Melbourne. I think we're this morning it was 14 degrees when I looked after the shower because I was like, I wonder how cold it was. So I think it got to 18 or something like that today. 3 cold showers a day. Very, very impressive. Very, very impressive. The first one's always the hardest. Once you've done the first, everyone else after that is going to be easier because you did it at the coldest time of day when you were the least awake. That's my philosophy on it anyway. Cold swims and showers, great. Rich is all about them as well. Ice bars, the best sex for 10 years of life. 30 seconds cold shower. 30 seconds is all you need, mate. It's a great start there. Halfway with hot, cold showers. Start with the cold and then go into the hot, because at least that way you're going with the hard. I think there's a huge intangible benefit about challenging yourself to do hard things. And so if you start with the hard and then go into the warm, then it's kind of it's like your reward for it. So no, good work, mate. You're doing it. You're doing it. Ralph, hey, not so much toward winter though. It's definitely changed, and is changing by the day. They're getting more and more chilly, but I think when you make a decision in life, things become a lot easier. If you are making a choice each and every day about whether you will or won't do something, very, very hard. If you make a decision to do something in life, it becomes easier if that's kind of your baseline. Like, for example, we're going to do a daily video on the channel each and every day, and we just did them. If I had have said, I'm going to wake up every day and choose whether I'm going to do a video or not, some days would have been tired. We would have had a lot of work on. We wouldn't have done it. And so I think the same thing with cold showers. If you just say, I'm going to do a cold shower every single morning, that's a decision, rain, hail, or shine. Literally rain, hail, or shine, because if it's cold, you're still going to do it. That makes things easier. That's how I've found it, at least. Going to be winter, mate. It's really starting to feel like winter. It's very, very chilly. Burpees like crazy now. I've been getting a lot into pull-ups lately as well. Burpees I haven't done in a long time. Might implement that into the bodyweight workout. If anyone's got any thoughts about kind of strength building at the gym, keen to hear them as well. Michael G, the man, how you going? Welcome. Great to have you join us. How are you going? Thoughts on fund managers? I actually haven't spent a huge amount of time looking into them and thinking about them. I know MFG had their kind of interesting period. Was it last year, 2022? Might have been 2021. I can't remember. But I haven't spent a huge amount of time. What's your thoughts, Max? And welcome. Any idea on electricity baseload as we shut coal power plants? I guess the idea is we need alternative solutions. What that looks like is going to be very, very different. But we're going to need alternative solutions. And I do think there's going to be a range of different solutions coming together. It's not going to be a one-for-one replacement, but I think there is going to be a few different ones. How's your EV? No EV. I'll tell you what I've been doing, actually. I've been riding the Lime scooters and Neuron scooters around a little bit. Efficient modes of transport in and around the city. I've been enjoying them. I actually have been doing those. I wonder if I'm sure they're electric powered. I'm sure they charge them overnight. Good books lately. Yeah, a few of them. Oh, do I have? I'm not going to remember the one that I was reading. Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. That's what it was. Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I thought it was a ripper. Matthew McConaughey, you guys will all remember or know as, the actor, incredible career. One of the most profound thinkers that I've come across, and at least the way that he conveyed and conceptualized his thoughts were incredibly fascinating. So I was blown away with that book. I'm also rereading The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F by Mark Manson. I just got back into that. When I first read it, I was like, is this over commercialized? Is it just a bit of a hype? Is it a bit of an excitement? I loved it. I was really blown away with the depth of his thoughts. And actually adding on a part 2 to that, his podcast with Tim Ferriss, incredibly illuminating as well. I've been getting really deep into the Tim Ferriss podcast lately. Again, like I've always loved them, but kind of getting back into them. It's a good one, actually. Thanks for the reminder there, Hoozle. Let's have a look. This was a rip for investors, which obviously talking to, on the investor channel, I think it makes sense to recommend this. Thinking about structures and frameworks and mindset, I thought this was one of the best podcasts I've heard in the recent time about this. So it's Tim Ferriss. Type in Tim Ferriss podcast. If you're not familiar with him, you'll really enjoy it. It's number, wasn't too long ago. Michael Mabusin. So he's got, I think he's ex Credit Suisse and all of that. But he's got his own venture fund, just one of the most, he's got like 10 or 15 selling books about investing. But it was just, treat yourself to 2 hours, whether you're at the gym, going for a run, relaxing time, however you listen to your podcast. Michael Mabusin, it was number 659. And while you're there, if you enjoyed them, number 658, Tim Ferriss podcast with Matt McCary. He's a CEO coach for everyone in Silicon Valley. Like his clientele list is just the who's who of Silicon Valley. Incredible. Thinking about frameworks. It's more of a mindset talk than commercial. But if you're into that thing, it could tickle your fancy. So that's a few things. Yeah, I know, mate. And the worst part was the momentum we had after the World Cup as well was so there. And just to see crowds back to 3, 4, 5K, it's just gutting. And I was reading that Jason Cummings looks like he's going over to India, which is it's great for them. But we should be like, he's not a home grown, but obviously he plays for the Socceroos. And he would have had it pretty good on the Central Coast. The fact that he wants to move, it's like, what's going on with the league? It's it's heartbreaking, mate. Division 2 next year with the original clubs, or I guess the OG clubs of Australia. We'll see how that goes. GPT to give you summaries and breakdowns of books. Fantastic. Very nice, actually. I might start to use it for that. It's almost like your very own personalized Spark Notes. Victoria SEC started windmills. I think it was Richard who asked up above. I got to do some more thinking about it before we can provide too many comments with it. DCAing into income building ETFs. I think Vanguard had their distribution day today. I saw it kind of pop up. Was that right? Was it Vanguard today? Wouldn't hold your breath. I don't think it's going to be too soon. I think there's not just logistical and infrastructural problems to overcome, but I think there is the perspective and mindset in Australia towards nuclear. Australia's relatively conservative, I guess you could say, in the global scale of things. And I think it's going to take time to overcome that for something like nuclear. But that'd be my thoughts on that. Would agree with that. Actually, that's a good part 2 to it, is that I guess it's a way to condition the thinking surrounding it, because it's getting it into the zeitgeist and the general discussion there. I would agree with that there. They're both correct by going back and forth on that. Look, the share price is essentially, I think it's been in the low teens the whole time. It has been interesting looking at some of the developments of the technology or the science there, as they've seemed to be continuing on. It'll be interesting to actually get Leslie back on for another interview. So I might do that. Thanks for the reminder, Billy. Excuse me. Good to see you back. It's good to be back. Bench press. How you going? Welcome. H2O. Literally, you read my mind. I just had a bit of a sip, but you read my mind. Genuine different question. I'm all about, you guys know, I love thinking about like entrepreneurship and kind of even the corporate questions and things like that, particularly social impact now that we've got with Mobilize. Happy with all of these questions. They don't all have to be about investing. So no need to kind of preface that. Happy to answer them. How long were you posting videos before your channel became profitable, monetized? Profitable, it was never profitable. Well, actually, so let me rephrase that. I had essentially no overheads because I was filming out of home. But it was very, very, very unprofitable for the hours that we were putting into it, because we were putting in for like 60 or 70 hours. And I think peak months we were getting like, because you've got to remember, I never did sponsorships or brand deals or partnerships or anything like that. So the only thing I was getting was YouTube AdSense, and YouTube AdSense at peak months got close to 2 to 3K. Like, happy to be kind of transparent about that. But on average, and that was the peak months during like 2021, 2022. So it was like very, very kind of, stock standard. But the hours we were putting in was absolute madness. In terms of monetize, I think we probably did. So the requirements that you need is 1,000 subscribers. I think it's 400 or 4,000 watch hours. And I think there's another few other kind of metrics that you need to achieve. I think from memory, we got there in about, it was either 80 videos or 120 videos. It was one side of 100 by 20 videos. So yeah, it was either 3 or 4 months, around about that. It wasn't. I haven't listened to Chris Hemsworth's show. Is that one I should be listening to, Neil? Send us a link if so, mate. Pull ups are the best, up to 5 times 10 reps. Goal is to get to 10 times 10 reps. The build up is slow from here. I've actually been getting a little bit of David Goggins in my short form content on like the reels and stuff. So he's been inspiring me to do a bit of those as well. But yeah, nice, mate. 10 times 10 is really, really solid. Great strength builder. Great. It is good for everything. You know, I don't need to highlight the benefits. You know them well, I'm sure. But yeah, it's a very, very fascinating. Long time no see. Hey, Tom, how you going? Look, it's a fascinating one. I think kind of for me, rather than thinking about the short term in terms of what's happening with the prices, I'm just thinking about kind of long-term supply and demand. It's the same way we've always talked about companies and markets and things like that. In the short term, anything can happen. In the long term, supply and demand is going to be the driver about where prices land. So that's really the focus. I am interested in seeing, you know, you hear all the experts in the space talking about it's very difficult to bring mines from all the way from exploration to production. And we're seeing that now. Mines that should be here now are getting delayed. Mines that were planning to be in the not too distant future are getting delayed. Expansion plans are getting on hold. It's not easy to bring mines on. And we're obviously seeing demand rise rapidly too. You know, all of these big automotive manufacturers are investing. We talked about Ford before, the Volkswagen CEO saying we need to get EV adoption coming quickly. Tesla still is ramping up. Like the demand is there. So I think short term, who knows? But long term, I think the supply and demand dynamic still makes sense. Obviously, where the price ended up was very exuberant. But yeah, it'll be fascinating. For our work week, I think we got it here, mate. There we do. We got it there. Good book, good book. I haven't read the what's it called? The 4-Hour Chef and the 4-Hour Health or something. He's got a few of them in that series, but I haven't read those. I only read the 4-Hour Work Week. And iShares. Interesting. Big double day if you've got a few ETFs in your portfolios there. Then put the book summary into a text to speech. Mate, you have got your own workflow there. You just sit there and you've got it all completely done. All you need now is just a AI reader of the title or something. So you can just read the title. You don't even need to type. You get 100% kind of efficiency. Hey, Peter, how you going, mate? Hope all is well. Same to you. How is life for you? Harani of Stocks, what is that? Hope you're going well, mate. Arun, long time, mate. Sayona and M&S. Magnus has been interesting post the Tesla deal. In terms of Sayona, we talked about them before. You know, is it kind of the market's thinking about the short term in terms of the Piedmont deal? Who knows? But yeah, two big announcements with the Mobland upgrade and the DFS release for the aggregated up NAL there. See if Elon's getting his ship off the ground. It's Wednesday in the US. Today is the, it's Thursday in the US soon. Today is going to be the day for Elon SpaceX. Why did they delay it? I missed that, but I saw they did delay it. Limitless with Chris Hemsworth, bit cringy parts, some good takeaways, benefits of intermittent fasting. I've never actually intermittent fasted. So yeah, look, I'll give it a listen, mate. I will give it a listen. Welcome to everyone who's been tuning in so far. If you guys have been wondering where we've been, we're on the Instagram, as I've talked about. It's at ASX Investor IG. After this stream, can you guys go look at the reel on the Instagram? I just posted it. It's the F1 one. I literally posted it at like 8:27. And I think the mouth and audio is out of alignment. And I hate when that happens. It happened a couple of times when we uploaded videos on YouTube and you can't take them back and they're just stuck there and it's so frustrating. I think that's what's happened. But let me know. Maybe it's just kind of what I've been looking at my phone. But yeah, we're on Instagram at ASX Investor IG. Come say good day. That's where we've been. Based on heading back up, I mean, the chart seems to be suggesting the bottoming out there in around that 15. We've also got to think about the scale of the debacle that there was. FTX was a huge thing. Like FTX wasn't some, like obviously we had Terra Luna, obviously we had all these other things, but FTX was a big player. Don't get me wrong, the rest of them were all big, particularly Terra Luna was kind of that other one, but FTX was like, it was a mainstay. It was a pillar of the system. And so things can definitely go wrong from here, as we've talked about. No one knows what's going to happen in the future. Things can definitely go even further wrong from there. But you'd need another one of those big players, something like a Binance or Coinbase or something like that, to have the same type of ripple effect. So it's like, it looks like a lot of the worst news was from that, but who knows, crypto is a very interesting space. G'day, mate. It's good to be catching up. I had no plans with the stream. I was like, let's just jump on and say g'day to everyone. And it's been as fulfilling and enjoyable for me, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it just as much. We'll definitely, I think it was Richard who said it's been a long time between drinks. We'll definitely be doing it a lot sooner than that. I do want to get into a more regular cadence. We were kind of working out whether we were traveling or what's happening with Mobilize and all of that. But now I'm here. We're set up. We're settled. We're back on set. We will be able to do this more consistently. We'll get some more CEO interviews out over the next few weeks. And we'll just get back into a rhythm, get back to catching up. Next World Cup heading over. I dare say yes. I've been to 2018 and 2022. good location for 2026, US, Mexico, Canada, great holiday destination with and without kind of the World Cup. With the World Cup, it sounds great. The change to 48 teams obviously is going to be different, but, it is what it is. You just hoping you don't get knocked out in round one because then you only get 2 games. But hopefully, I think the Roos, you'd love to see by then the Roos to be a top 20 footballing nation. It's aspirational, but that would be what you'd love to see going into that. And who knows, maybe win an Asian Cup before then or something like that. Spark the rocket up there, Elon. Let's see how it goes. Intermittent fasting and cold showers work well. They do. I love that everyone's so focused on health. It's so important. It's kind of the bedrock of life. So, no, I'm liking it. SpaceX, cheers, Neil. Low problem. One of the valves had frozen due to go up within the next hour or so. I don't know what I'll be watching then. Interesting. They're good. I'm sure they're going to do an online live stream like they always do, right? On YouTube or something like that. Xantip to the moon, still chasing the lithium dream. Chris is still focusing on the lithium. Anything else, Chris? Or are they kind of just the 2 you've been watching? BTC being pumped by Tether being minted by Paulie Ardonio's laptop. Unordered, very unlikely. Can you elaborate further on that one, Deco, please? This is something I'm not familiar with. Interest rates of 5.25 before inflation moves closer to 2 to 3%. Still a fair way to go there if we are getting to 5.25 there on Richard's call. Bit of work to do. They're going to get a bit busier. Rhythm back, at least. Yeah, I think that's the longer-term plan. It's not going to be next week, but the longer-term plan is whether it's a Thursday or whether it's a Tuesday, whatever it is, we can just come hang out for half an hour and just chat again and kind of hopefully the market's got some interesting things going on. There's always interesting things on the market, actually. We'll find things to talk about, I'm sure. But yeah, let's get back to like that type of... I was also thinking Sunday nights, but I guess that's harder because everyone wants to get back into like their work rhythm. Maybe it is during the week. It's like a Tuesday or something like that. Hope they don't take out that economy. That's the other side of the coin, right? Like, yes, raising rates will get the inflation down, but, if you raise them too quickly and suddenly you start to see unemployment ticking up, you start seeing demand cratering down, and that's kind of the risk that they've got to navigate. It is fascinating seeing how persistently stubborn unemployment's been, particularly in the US. They've obviously been on a harder rate rising campaign than Australia, but hey, it's an interesting time, What's everyone been feeling about inflation kind of in their back pocket? Have you noticed it kind of starting to slow down on an anecdotal level? I personally have been. I don't think let me rephrase that. Prices now are a heck of a lot higher than they were. I don't think the rate of price increases is anywhere near like it was. It definitely seems like we're starting to get near peak prices. Yeah, they'll keep ticking up, obviously. That's the way that, as we know, if it's still rising, even if the rate of growth is coming down, they're still rising. But I don't think the rate has been anywhere near as bad as it was. There was that period, it was probably like 6, 12, 18 months ago, where every single week or month, you feel like you go to the grocers and you're paying an extra 2, 3%. It was madness. I think Deco mentioned he was. Not sure if anyone else is in on that. I think it closed at 5.06 today or 5.08 or something like that. All right, I think this is something that we can work towards, is getting back to like some sort of a cadence or a rhythm on interviews. Let us know what other videos you want. In terms of the business stories and reels on Instagram, let us know what you're thinking there. We've been just doing a range of different kind of daily content posts, like examples of them is like, one was Tesla, one was on India overtaking China as the world's most populous nation, one was on Australia's EV strategy, Apple. So we've been doing very global stuff, but let us know what you want over on there. We're on Instagram. It's at ASX Investor IG. Next CEO interview will be out next Sunday night. So not this coming Sunday. Obviously, everyone's away for the long weekend. Hope you guys have a great long weekend. But it'll be next Sunday night. It's actually a fascinating one. It's a new company on the channel we haven't done before. A new industry as well, but they're having a bit of news flow. Heck, I'm interested in just doing interesting companies and talking about interesting sectors. So we'll keep doing that. I have had a lot of fun tonight. I've really, really enjoyed it. I think we got into a good rhythm. It was great to see everyone. Make sure you've subscribed, turn your bell notifications on, hit the like button as well. There's plenty of videos on the channel for you to check out if you're not up with the latest catalog, but make sure you come over to the Instagram at ASX Investor IG. Let's do this again very, very soon. And I'm very grateful that we saw so many familiar faces. It's been so nice just to be able to come back, hang out, refresh. And we'll be able to chat about broader things. I want to kind of take you guys along the journey with Are Mobilize as well. Obviously, we're in the process of building a company right now, and that's, I think, will be half interesting for you guys as well, because obviously we talk about that type of space, and being able to do it is very, very fascinating. So we'll take you along the entrepreneurial journey. We'll talk about a range of different things, mindset, everything else, travel. So yeah, let's get back into a rhythm for streams. A big thank you for joining us. Subscribe, turn your bell notifications on. Come say good day on the Instagram, and we'll see you very soon. Hope you have a fantastic night. Earnings season. It's an exciting time. We'll talk about it soon. I'd say next live stream will be in 2 weeks' time, but just check the community tab, because that's where we will be dropping the live streams and also on the Instagram stories. I drop them on the Instagram stories when we're going live. Gold triple top. It did reach above the 2K USD mark. Tom, it's a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Grocery bill basically doubled. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that is very fair. Sticky, not transitory. Inflation. Unfortunately, prices go up, but they don't go down as easily at all. Property prices in Sydney in certain areas, yeah, there was a steady, or not a steady, it was a quick go down, but it does seem like from some quarters, people think they're bottoming out there. Picked up some BLG and ASM recently, mid to long-term holding. Nice, Peter. What a coincidence. You can see me training to beat Goggins pull-up record on your channel. Mate, I'll have a look at that, mate. Godspeed to you. Fantastic. It was a pleasure, Chris. Always great to have you join us, mate. Let's do this again soon. 2 weeks' time. Hold me to it. Drop in the comments. We'll do it. So it'll be, first week of May. Looking forward to it. Do we want Thursdays or Tuesdays? It'll be either a Tuesday or a Thursday at 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. Check the community tab. Check the Instagram stories. I'll let you guys all know. Big thanks for joining us, guys. I had a fantastic night. I hope you enjoyed it as well. See you very, very soon. First week of May. We'll talk then. For now, as always, stay well and happy investing.